Hey, thought I would drop in here again real quick as I'm starting to put this back together a little bit. I've got the vintage switch in there. Gonna put the all super magical 1959 burst tone nut on there. And I just want to show the hardware. I did complete the aging on the screws to the extent that I like them. Let me see if I can zoom in here. So this is how I like them, really kind of a darkened patina on top. There's definitely some black oxidation there, especially the pickguard screw and the pickup ring screws with the flat tops. That's really what I was going for, was that blackened look. But you can see in the right light there's still some shine to them, and there's basically zero red brown rust there. Got the same thing going on here with the pickguard hardware, and this around the bracket, it is shielded. If you look, you can kind of see it looks like it's like a little bit of dimpling. It's basically that screw is ever so slightly proud, and so it shields the guard from abrasion. This taped off line here is not for no reason. That's where the pickguard is going to sit. There we go. So you can see it's protected underneath there by the pickguard itself. I did get some of that blackened look that I like inside the slots on my bridge. This is Rewind Electric hardware, by the way, all of it. And yep, I think that's probably everything. So I'm going to start getting this back together. Maybe I will drop in again. Maybe I'll just keep the camera rolling and see what happens. Let's do that. I can show you a little bit more too about these screws. Okay, so let me show you something else about my pickguard screws. Pickup ring screws, sorry, but this is going to be the case with most all of them. This one's a little bit stuck in there, and that is that the threads are not rusty. Why would the threads be rusty? They probably were covered in a little bit of beeswax before they were put into the wood and then protected for their whole life. So when you take old screws out of guitars, you don't see rust on the threads. When somebody fake ages screws is when you see rust on the threads. So I guess it's kind of ironic that like I fake age them less fake. But yeah, that's kind of my thing. So there's that. I've got the wiring for the switch threaded to the jack, and I've got the pickups threaded through to the jack. These are my Bartlett PAFs, which you can only get in a Bartlett guitar. So if you want to get a set from me, I'm sorry, I don't sell them. If you want to get a Bartlett guitar, well, then you can have a set. Okay, let's see if I can just thread this on loosely for the moment so it doesn't flop around at all. Man, that goes on so nice. You know, I install a lot of, I make those switch nuts. See? Got a whole section of them there. I make them in nickel and gold and SG. Yeah, I make these, and I also have custom-made switches. Let's see if I have one of those here. Yeah. These guys. So you can't get them like this now. Slotted screws. They are Switchcraft. Dark brown phenolic wafers. And when they're new, they just don't go on so smooth as those old ones. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's like the tolerances in the plating and the machining. I don't think it's the fact that this has been on and off a bunch of times. It probably hasn't. It's probably been on and off like twice. You know, how many times are you going to take that switch out? It's an original switch. It's an original nut. It's not like it had trouble and had to be worked on a lot or anything. And even if it did, even if it did have trouble, like, people aren't repairing those switches. You just replace it. So anyway, I will do something with these pickups. Be it either change them out, change the magnets, or just at least swap the covers and put some PAF covers on there. I'm not sure yet, but that's gonna probably be the last thing I do. I'm gonna get the guitar going the way I want it first, and then I'll do that. These are Tom's rings. His pickup rings are amazing. These are the best I've ever seen. I've got OTP rings on another guitar, and I've got original rings on another guitar. These have the perfect color. All this stuff is like very slightly different shades of creaminess. This poker chip could probably stand to be a little bit lighter. Usually that's, in my experience, the lightest of the white plastics is the poker chip. We got this special tool for the switch nut, so I'm going to use right now to tighten it down. Oh, poker chip's trying to move on me. I'm such a stickler for getting these things perfectly straight, both the switch and the poker chip. And it's difficult to do that because they don't want to work with each other. Okay. I think I got it though. There we go. Yep. Okay. Okay. Look at that. Look how nice those look. Nice and black. You see, I do my pull screws that way too. I age these pickups before they go to Tom. All right. I guess we could do the pick guard next, or we could do the pick guard last. Whatever. Let's do the pick guard. Oh, no. The dial indicators. Now, I have a 59 set of pointers, dial indicators, whatever you want to call them. And I can't find, I think I know where they are. And I'm going to have to just wait, put them on next round. I'm not going to put everything. Like, this is going to be a done in stages kind of project, because there's some stuff that's, like, I might have a tailpiece lined up. In fact, I know I do. Well, so, like, for instance, these dial indicators are going to go on for now, and then they'll come off again, and I'll put the other ones on later. I was just trying to figure out which one was which. I thought I had one of these that was aged just a little bit more, and that was going to be my bridge volume. But now they look like they're all fairly evenly aged to me. Maybe I made that up. Oh, there it is. Bridge volume. And these things will scrape your paint right off if you're not careful. One thing I've never seen them do though is slice a thumb. People call them thumb slicers. I mean, it's a vicious name. I like it, but I've never seen that actually happen. Maybe right now. Now would be the time that would happen, is when you're putting them on. Look at these awesome like flecks on the grain of this wood. It looks so cool. I'm not putting these on with a whole lot of pressure, just enough to keep them snug and tight. Because I'm going to be swapping them, you know, a couple days, a couple weeks, whatever. At that point, I will spend the time making sure they're perfect, making sure they're on tight. Because it's hard to do both. You can make them perfect, you can make them tight. And if you want to make them perfect and tight, Lord help you. That's a hard task. Okay. Plenty of length there on that switch. I'm going to fire up my meter because we're going to have to do a little bit of conductivity testing to make sure that we don't wire the switch in upside down. And that nothing got mushed in there when it got installed. Nothing's shorted or touching. I don't think it is. Looks pretty pretty good to me. Maybe I will just move this one little lead out of the way so it's not touching the leaves of the switch. There we go. I can take my little bridge and neck tape off of the pickup leads. Probably never needed it because they're kind of already formed into place, but definitely don't need it now because they're soldered into place. Okay. I guess I should look at my template here and see if I want to copy the way the leads go onto the pots. I might not. Yeah, they're a little sloppy. I will kind of copy the general vibe of it, though. Can you guys see that? Okay, so yeah, so when I do these, I normally install the switch and the pickups pretty close together. This looks like they put some space between them, so maybe I'll go with that, the space between the method. That kind of looks cool, and it would make it highly serviceable to if I ever had to, you know, well, I probably will, to swap the pickups in the future. A little bit of solder and lacquer might just be in there. Yep, I think that's just part of the guitar. That's gonna be there now. Okay, I'm kind of off camera. And I did not ever cut the lugs off the tone pods, the extra lugs. Oh, but I will. The ground on this. I think I have some pre-cut ground buses. Let's see. Maybe not. Well, whatever. Cut them. Here's a way you can, if you got some squirrely wire you want to straighten it out, there's a little way you can do it. You kind of pinch it and pull it through. Look at that. It's already nice. You can do that from a few different angles. And that'll, there you go. See? Much nicer. Not that it needs to be perfect for this. In fact, it probably shouldn't be. Let's fire up the iron. Now, I'm sure Gibson didn't do this, but I'm going to, sometimes I just like to put a little piece of tape down on the next pot to kind of keep that bus wire roughly where I want it as I solder. Oh, yep, we're using the lead-free good stuff. And a little bit of paste flux on it. To keep the heat where we want. Okay. I don't know if you can see that, but that was a perfect landing right where I wanted it, which is also right on top of the old solder. And I'll come back and get that, give it a chance to cool. Rather than hitting all the joints on one pot, I'm going to go through them and I'm going to rotate one at a time. Actually had to imperfect it a little bit. It was a little bit too perfect the first time, weird as that sounds. Hopefully you guys can still kind of see what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of liberty with this one because my string ground was a little shorter than the burst I'm copying. So I'm going to loop this around, basically leave it some slack for any kind of, just a little bit of slack for any kind of service, but then also give it the same look overall. Perfect. All right, now let us get these tested. Okay, so continuity. That's the neck. Let's just make sure all three positions work as expected. Yeah, and that's the bridge. Okay. So route this under and take this right around and land it right in there. It's gonna be beautiful. Tin this so that I can slip it in better. Oh, it is kind of tinned. I nipped the end off though. And I'm going to re-tin it. Give that a nice clean connection. Now, I got a trick here. When you're trying to slip two wires into an eyelet or a hole or something, you can often use a hook or a poker of some sort to press one over and make room, which is what I'm going to try and do here. This is going to be a little bit tricky. I don't think I can really want to do this without melting anything. But this setup, this arrangement does not want me to do this without melting anything. So I'm going to try very hard to work very quickly. This is not how Gibson would have done it. It's just that I'm trying to copy one and work with used parts. It makes the work a lot harder. They would not have put all this effort into it. Not that they wouldn't have put any. Okay, hopefully that's it. Okay, I think we're good. Still gonna solder those down. Probably should have gone under with the switch rather than over. It's okay. Maybe I will solder these down now. I think I will. That'll help keep everything kind of neat and tidy. And then I'll move on to the next one. Okay, flux down there. Okay, here we go. Big pot ground. Yep. That's it. Now, I will come back to the other one in a minute. I'm going to let that cool for a second. And we're going to cut this right to there. Oh, I just threw out a scrap of 1959 wire. It's okay, it was small. Got lots of scraps. This is gonna fight me. The braid is very tight on this piece. It's not gonna want to come back easily without pulling off the insulation. I'm gonna try to fray it just a little bit. Not fry it like my power station, but fray it. Without making a mess. which is not easy. All right, did I get enough? Oh boy. Okay. This is gonna be a tricky one. Definitely gonna fight me on it. I don't have the length to mess with it. I know better than to fight this. I'm just going to let it win. I'm going to do it the hard way right off the bat. Take my time. I did leave enough for this because I knew this was a possibility. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to tin the end. Just slip it in that eyelet of the pot. A little help from my dental tool. Okay. I need a little flux. If you don't know, the flux helps the heat go where you want it to. See, flux is something you can work without, but once you get to start using it and appreciating it, you don't want to work without it. You'll do a lot better work with it. Makes work cleaner, easier, faster. Oh boy. Okay, this one's being a little tricky. There we go. And do a little cleanup on that. Okay, back to not trying to melt the insulation while I'm working on this one here. This is the lug with the capacitor insulation on it. It's very tricky. Hopefully that's all it takes. Looks good to me. Just gotta nip those ends off. One, two, okay. Okay, I just gotta solder that pickup down and I'll be done. Alright, flux, work with me this time. Last one I did not have the best luck on. Let's fix that this time. I don't know what happened there. Maybe the pot had some grease on it still from lubrication or cleaning or whatever. I've just cleaned it with rubbing alcohol now though, so that should be 99% alcohol. It's not really rubbing alcohol at that point. Okay. There we go. I like to tuck these in to the route and just make it tidy. Okay. Now just down to the jack. I have my vintage jack right here. I do need to change the screws on that plate, so let's do that now. I don't want to go off camera, but I got to pull this forward a little bit for a minute. Sorry. I'm gonna have a good long look at this jack plate too. It looks like it might be thin, but I could be wrong. I have to go back and not so much look at this one, but look at my reference photos. I don't know. What do you guys think? Okay, the insulation sleeve. I had a piece that was on here from the factory. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay, so mine is like, this is, here. Hang on a second. Okay, this is from a early 60s 345. This is what came off of the 62 harness, and this is my 59 replica. Really, the replica looks to be, if I put them all at the same height, it's like exactly the same. So Gibson was using two different sizes, obviously. Looks like the one I see in the burst is the smaller type. Now this one is pretty kinked up badly. Let me see if I have another piece over here. So we got another harness from a different guitar. And there is a small piece on there. A couple small pieces. This is from a 345 or a 355 maybe. But I think I'll leave that. I don't want to take that apart. The harness is mostly whole, so I think I'll use mine. And this just keeps, I guess I could get back on camera a little bit here. This just keeps the shield from shorting against any of the lugs on the pots or the ends of the capacitors. Just keeps things insulated. All right. Now, looks to me, if I want to copy the look, stuff basically comes up like that. So the jack lands like, yeah, about here. It's kind of giving me the same grief it did earlier. All right, I'm going to do this one in a different way. I'm going to try and cut the insulation back a little bit. I know it's not the point of pushback wire. You're supposed to push it back. Old and being difficult. I think this might not have been the best solution now that I start doing it. Actually, that worked. Made me a little nervous. It worked. Okay. Ooh. I just got a 60-year-old splinter. It's not good. See, that's the thing with the 99% alcohol. I don't know if you can see that, but that'll dry your skin out like right away. Hey, there we go. Finally got some of that pushback pushed back. It was pushing back on me. And that's not why it's called pushback wire. It's not supposed to fight you. Kind of is though. Okay, let's get a little paste flux on that end. Tin it. Okay, this is how Gibson did these. They came in from the outside like that. All right. Go. That's how I do it. Forceps, and then kink in that. And this is coming along. I like doing these. Always liked wiring up Les Pauls. From the very first time I did it, I really just enjoyed the process. The journey, all that good stuff. All right. Okay, and then you see this. Can you see what I'm doing here? I know it's a little bit hard. I'm in the corner of the screen. This black sleeve, you push this down and that comes all the way down as far as it'll go. I kind of like to force it onto that. Can you see that? Onto that tab a little bit. And that way it's held in place. It won't slide back up. And that shield can never touch the tip of your jack when you plug your guitar in. More scrap. It's turning green. Toss it. Okay. Oh, I think that's all the solder. Oh, no. There's still some more soldering. But let's put this jack back in so it's not hanging there. I'm going to need my screws for this. Which ones are the jack plate screws? I don't think it matters. Excuse me. I think it's any of these. Little trick for when that happens. This. Oh, that's the truss rod cover screw. This one must be the other one. Yes. I'm gonna lose those. here's the washer for that, the lock washer. Now, there's my original nuts and washers. I don't know, but I got a couple here, so we'll borrow these. Those are really shiny. I didn't age those. Even though they're old, I'm now compelled to age them a little bit. So just a little Scotch Brite here. Yeah, I got the ones that Tom sent, but they're just, like I said, a little rusty for my tastes. These washers you got to be very careful with because they're brass and you can go right through that plating very easily. So you just want to kind of break the shine ever so slightly, and then move on with your life. And it'll age a little more. Yep. Okay, that's it. And these are curved. Okay. After they've been on a guitar at least. Okay, that's one you want to tighten up pretty good because you don't ever want to mess with it again. I'll show you something else you want to do too. Once you put this in with like 2 screws first, then you want to just check the fit. Make sure you can get a jack in there because sometimes you have to rotate the plug inside the mounting panel in order to allow the jack to go in, because it's going to go in and pry open that contact, and so it needs a little bit of room. Not a lot, but I mean, this is close quarters inside here. Okay, and just take a guitar plug and make sure it fits. Yep. Perfect. We're just about done. There's an art to how tight those go. Oh, yes. We do have to solder this one last guy here. Extra screw, fun for you. Here it is. I think right there is good. And then again, just kind of, I had this sort of tidied up before. Work that back in. Yeah, there we go. That looks very nice. This guy should be kind of like up here. Something like that. Yeah, all right. How's that? Look pretty good. Gotta nip those lugs off the tone pots, and then we're done wiring up that harness. Okay, this part is not electrically necessary. However, it does serve a purpose, and that is, without these extra lugs here, there's one less place for something to short against. So you might think that's crazy to cut the lugs off of a $500 pot. I would not argue with you on that, but I must say it is vintage correct. That is what Gibson did in the bursts. It's also easier if you do that first. Okay. There we go. Let's see if I can get you a nice view there. How's that? That look good? Does it look like my original here that I've copied? I think so. All right, well, let me button it back up. We're here together. Let's put it back together. A lot of these are the tuning machine screws. I have a set of fake 58s coming to me. I also have a set of original single lines, so I'm not sure what I'm going to put on there yet. I'll tell you what my ultimate idea is. So here's the thing with the single lines. They're old. They're actually not that crusty considering that they are that old. They're in pretty good shape as far as old tuners go. But old tuners are not really generally in very good shape. So a new set would be smoother. Now, if I'm going to put a new set on, and I don't think I could buy an original set that is actually smoother than the ones I have. I considered that. If I put a new set on, I'm inclined to put on the Cluson Supremes, or I would prefer the gearing of them better, let's say, rather than the Deluxes. There's a little something in here. There's like a little piece of material sandwiched. Let me see if I can figure that out. But the Supremes say Cluson Supreme on the back rather than Cluson Deluxe. Little thing, I know, but it's gonna irk me. So, what I kind of would like to do, and I'm pretty sure the fake 58s are just Cluson Deluxes, and also not of the not my preferred type of aging. What I'm thinking is I could, sorry, I'm doing two things at once. It would be nice to take the internal gearing, the 18:1 gear ratio of the Cluson Supremes, combine that with the back panel of the Cluson Deluxes that have the Cluson Deluxe branding on them. A little plastic burr I'm trying to get off. And then use the tips from the fake 58s. So basically take 3 sets of tuning machines and make one ultimate set. Do you think I can do it? I've never taken them apart, the new ones, like that. They're not made to be taken apart. It might be possible. This jack plate. I might need to revisit this jack plate. Yeah, anyway, if I could do that, that would be pretty cool. This is loose again. Whoops. Switch ring is what I'm talking about, by the way. Not the ring, but the actual switch. Okay. I mean, the other option is Grover's, but they're heavy. I don't love or hate the look of them. I could work with it, but I don't want to add the weight. How do these look? I think those all match pretty well. I gotta get to bed. It's past my bedtime. All right. Suppose I could have tested all this before I put the covers on. By the way, I looked at some reference photos. If you watched an earlier video, I was kind of wondering, I was like, are these screws supposed to sit so proud of the plastic covers? And yes, they are. Indeed, that is correct. They seem to be, like the standard seems to be slightly countersunk. I think I have this on wrong. Try a different set of holes. Let's try this way. Yep. Well, yeah. I think that's what it wants. Man, Les Pauls are awesome. I've come to like my SG Special a whole lot though. I got that last winter, and I've had SGs before, never Special, and I expected, I'd love it. I was kind of getting it as a P90 platform because I didn't have another P90 guitar at the moment, but it totally. It ended up hanging on my wall because it was the new guitar, that wall in the shop, I mean, and it was here, and it was convenient. And then also it was lightweight, it was comfortable, it sounded amazing, played very well. Actually, I still need to do a setup on it. Frets aren't perfect because I put 8s on it, dropped the tuning down to D, and lowered the action, and I mean, it did surprisingly well for a Gibson USA with the factory setup. It really did, but it had a couple high frets that I addressed some. I did some touch ups, some spot work on the frets, and but I never slotted the bridge, and I never replace the nut. I've got a nylon nut to put on it. And I did a real fret level. So I'll do a level and crown and all those other things shortly. And then it'll be even nicer. Okay, let's get this pick guard back on because a Les Paul without a pick guard? Ew. Gross. And there we go. Last screw of the night right here. Okay. Now I'm just going to give it a quick little function check. Make sure I didn't wreck something. I probably did. This is usually where it goes, is when you're going to bed, you're already late, you're going to do one little test, then you're like, wait, everything's wrong. Oh, yes, gotta turn the amp up. Okay, well, that's good. Oh, man. I think we did good. And either one of these volumes should take down both pickups. Yes. And either tone should work on both. All right, we're all good. I'm not going to string it up tonight, but it's ready to be strung up. And that's going to be a pretty nice looking bridge and tail if I put that on there. I have several other options, but I think that's pretty good. See what I mean? It's gonna give a little palm wear on there. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Okay, all right. Thanks for sticking with me. Been a long one, but there we go. Electro-Harmonix complete. Vintage wise, not the pickups because that's the last step. I am gonna put a little bit of if I can find it. Yeah. I got a little bit left of my old school what the heck is it called? Fret Doctor. Fret Doctor I'm gonna put on there. But you don't have to stick around. I guess why not? I'll let you watch it. The strange among you may appreciate this. Let's do it. It does do some really nice stuff for a fretboard. Okay. I guess I'm not on the camera yet. So when we get down a little lower on the frets, and then you'll see what I'm doing. This is already a nice dark piece of Brazilian, so there's not really much to see as far as it darkening up more, but it will add a nice sheen to it. It will keep it moist. I'm in the desert, and this guitar was lost in the hands of UPS from March until August. So who knows where it went? Maybe it was, in Burma. Maybe it was in Thailand. Maybe it was in the outback of Australia. Maybe it was in Saudi Arabia. Maybe it was right here in the Mojave Desert of Utah. Oh, look at that. The red is coming out in that. That looks very nice. I'm glad I did this. That's really bringing out the color. One fret at a time, all the way up and down, rubbing it in, all the way up against the frets, all the way back. Okay, and that's it. Maybe a little wipe down here. Wipe down here. And on the back. nice. All done. Okay, now I'm really done. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.